What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Knives of the Round Table. And this time, we're going to be taking a look at the Spyderco Manix 2. Now, this is a knife that's been in the Spyderco lineup for quite a while. And I think it's become one of their most popular knives. And I think there's a good reason for that. The Spyderco Manix 2, it's my favorite knife in the Spyderco lineup. And we're going to be discussing what makes this knife so good in the Spyderco lineup. So let me I'm gonna clear these out so we can do a size comparison here. So there's the Manix 2. Here's against the competition, right? I think Benchmade and Spyderco are probably the biggest competitors. So it's a larger knife. So you're gonna feel this a lot more than you're gonna feel the bug out. They're meant for different uses, right? This is a far more EDC friendly in your pocket lighter tasks. This is a little bit heavier duty, larger knife. But if we compare it to the most popular Spyderco knives, we have the Para 2, which is a really good comparison, and we have the Para 3. So what you can see here, obviously, the comparison and the choice is going to be between these two. When I did the Spyderco brand overview, I recommended the Manix over the Para 2. Obviously, I'm in the minority here. A lot of people like the Para 2. I do like the Para 2. But I'm not a fan of the compression lock. It's just I prefer this. I prefer this ball bearing lock. That's an Axis style lock. I think I just like the action better. Whenever I close the blade, this hits me every time I grab the compression lock. I think it might be just it might be that I'm holding it wrong, but I prefer both the ergonomics, the looks, and the action of the Manix 2. But as you can see here, size-wise, the Para 2 and the Manix are remarkably similar in size, in carry, in thickness, in a lot of things. Just the profile of the knife, it's far more pronounced. This beak of the bird, it's far more pronounced on the Para 2. The Manix has a taller blade, a taller handle, so it feels my hand better. I think the Manix 2 feels it's better for people with larger hands. So one of the things that makes the Manix a little bit harder to review is that you kind of have to decide which version of the Manix you're reviewing. For instance, right here we have, this is the Manix 2 in Sanmai steel. What it means is that it has an S9, you can see it has two steels. There's not a lot of Spydercos that have that. And Sanmai, what it does is there's a center layer of a steel that is very edge retaining, right? Something that will retain an edge for a long time. In this case, S90V, one of the best steels for that. And then what they do is at both sides, they put layers of a steel that is resistant, that is a tougher steel, that it will resist bending. So then you get both the best of both worlds. So it's a little bit harder to tell. So I'm going to shift it slowly. There's a line right around here. I don't know if you can tell, right around there. And what it is what you're seeing there is the difference between the two steels. I'm gonna just shift it around. So it's a carbon fiber scale. So this one is a very good version of the knife, right? Because you get kind of the best of both worlds. You get the toughness of the CPM 154 and the edge retention of the S90V. So this is a really, really good steel. This one is the DLT exclusive in crewwear. Obviously, crewwear, one of the best steels. This is the St. Nick's Knives exclusive in 4B, and I put a mirror edge on this one. I've used this one. So, there's versions that go from about $120, with steels like S30V and those kinds of things, to much higher end knives. These are definitely on the higher end of the steels. They have 10V versions. They have all kinds of versions. And I think that's one of the greatest things that Spyderco does, right? If you want to try out a new steel, you get to, okay, in identical blade geometry, in identical ergonomics, with identical quality control, because it's the same company, you get to try out the different steels. So I've seen a lot of steel testing done on the Manix too, just because it provides so many different options, just like the Para 2 also comes in a bunch of different steels. Now, one of the great things I think Spyderco does in general, but more in particular on the Manix 2, is the ergonomics. This is just, it was drawn for my hand. I wear size L gloves, and this just, it just guides my hand to where it needs to be. In this position, I get the thumb ramp, and if I need to, I can choke up. And again, even in the choke up position, I get a really, really, really good grip. The ergonomics on the Manix 2 are excellent. I think probably Spyderco's best, and that's saying some, right? Some people like the ergonomics on the Para 2 better, but because the handle on the Manix is a little bit taller in this direction, a larger hand is going to enjoy the Manix 2, and that's why I like the Manix 2 a little bit better than I do the Para 2. Now, if we talk action, I think the action is typical of an axis lock, right? It's kind of that Benchmade action where you get a free floating blade when you release the axis, and then you got this action that is decent when the axis is engaged in deployment. They fire really good. They're running on phosphor bronze washers, all of these, so it takes a little bit of time to break in. This one I haven't used as much, so that's why you see it not fall shut. I've used this one a lot more, and this one's a newer knife in my collection. But I think the action is very similar to what you see from Benchmade. I like you can get different axes. This is kind of a plasticky thing. I don't like it, but you can get. I think Flightanium makes one of a replacement part for that. So the action, I would say, is decent out of the box, with it improving over time because of the phosphor bronze washers. It's nothing that you're gonna be super excited. It's not a drop shot action like a Grimsmo. It's not as snappy as a Curtis, or just an incredible action like a Shirogorov. But I think it's very good for a tool. And I think first and foremost, most Spyderco knives, or all Spyderco knives, are really good cutting tools. The aesthetics. I've never thought that the Spydercos are the most beautiful knives in the world, but I can see where the usefulness, the utility of Spyderco is really top notch. Cutting, I think the Manix is one of the sliciest knives you'll ever see, because it doesn't have a really thick blade stock, and the flat grind goes from the top to the bottom. And because it has a taller blade, especially when compared to the Para 2, a taller blade means that if they're using the same blade stock, and they are, that you get to a thinner edge. So slicing this, cardboard, and most cutting tasks, as long as they're not really heavy duty, this is a laser beam. These will slice anything. It's a really, really fine cutter, and one of the best knives if what you need to do is cut rope, cardboard, foot prep, those kinds of things. Nothing too heavy duty, like wood or stuff like that. That I wouldn't use this for processing wood or anything like that. But for most EDC tasks, I think the Spyderco Manix 2 is just such a nice slicer. The tall blade, it just comes down to a really good edge, and it cuts like a dream. They cut really, really well. Fit and finish, the ones that I have here, all of them are made in Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth. So they have some of the best fit and finish that Spyderco can offer. Some of the ones made in Taichung are pretty good as well. But I like things that are made in the United States. So I like when I can get the ones that are made in Golden, Colorado. My pair 2 is also made in Colorado. And fit and finish, I think if you've had a pair 2, a pair 3, if you've ever felt a Spyderco, I think you know the fit and finish is usually pretty good. Blades are usually centered. This one's been favored the clip side just a tiny bit, but not much. I mean, so fit and finish is decent. Nothing that will, it's not a high-end production knife. It's certainly excellent at the price point that they're shooting for. Airing of grievances, I don't have a lot of dislikes of the Manix 2. As you can see, I have 3 of them. I love that they do it in these bizarre steels. Whenever I find a steel that is used sparingly, I try and go see if Spyderco has a Manix in that steel. A lot of these are hard to track down because you have to be on the lookout for St. Nick's knives to get this one, on the lookout for DLT if you want that one, on the lookout for Knife Joy if you want this one. So you have to kind of be on the lookout for a lot of things. If you want the OD green with tan, you have to go to River's Edge Cutlery. So a lot of dealers have an exclusive on colors and steels. So it's hard to track all of them down, but if you're looking for a specific steel, there's probably a dealer out there that has an exclusive on it that you can find. So other than the fact that in general I don't like the aesthetics of Spyderco, like I've said before, they look like birds to me. I feel like the lines don't flow. Other than the fact that I don't particularly care for their aesthetics, they're never gonna be in my display cabinet, but they're outstanding tools. So they're always in my case. I have a lot of them. I use them as tools. They're great cutting tools, and they can be found in many different steels. So you'll find one, if you want one that's more corrosion resistant, if you want the one that's tougher, edge retention, whatever it is that you're looking for in a knife, you're probably gonna find a steel that'll do it. So guys, this is the review for the Spyderco Manix. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, like, subscribe, comment, let me know if you have a specific version that you like of this knife. And until I see you again, take care.